Grand Risings. Why? Why would I do a Facebook Live on a Friday morning? Why not? Right? So before I start, I want to pay homage to those who came before us, who brought us to the place where we are today, right? Absent a Marcus Garvey, absent an Elijah Muhammad, absent a Malcolm X, a Muhammad Ali, a Martin Luther King. And you see and recognize that I made mention of Martin Luther King. History isn't looked at in a versus type of a battle. It's not a matter of whether or not I agreed with the ideology of a man. It is the fact that they pushed a flag forward that is most relevant. And so it is on the shoulders of those people that we stand, Queen Harriet Tubman. It is on these shoulders that allow us to be in 2020 and in fact, even have these kinds of conversations and discussions. So I want to give thanks first and foremost to those who came before us. But I want to, and I generally, if you look back, you will find that I never speak about what's in the news. In my mind, and this is just me personally, in my mind, that is to allow distraction for myself. What they do in the news doesn't influence me. See, the most focused man in the world is the farmer, right? Because no matter what happens, the farmer knows he needs to go out to his fields. He needs to tend to his fields. He needs to plant his seeds. He knows his harvest schedule. He knows everything that is in front of him, and anything that is outside of that is outside of his purview. He doesn't care about what you're doing over there. He still has to handle his business. So the farmer is the most focused of individuals in a society. So I consider myself in that perspective. I'm not interested in their news. What happens in their news, what happens in their politics, does not in any way, shape, or form impact or affect what I must do, right? So I don't pay attention. I don't care about Donald Trump. I don't care about Biden. They're neither going to kill me nor save me, right? So I don't care about nothing that they're doing. Everything that's happening is supposed to happen. Everything they're feeling right now, they're supposed to feel. And it's going to get worse, okay? And it's going to get worse. They are the only ones that feel, no, I'm sorry, I'm going to restate that. See, they have become so deluded that they truly believe, and it is outside of their capacity to even fathom, that they are not supreme, that everything that drops into their little beady heads is not justified and right. They completely cannot even imagine, even ask the question. Go to any person that you see, and now I'm going to tell you, this is a demonstration that you can repeat throughout any demographic. Go and ask any person, what if they're not supreme? You're going to see them start to, oh my God, right? You're going to hear Black folks say, well, they're not supreme. Of course they're not, right? Yeah, right. You're going to hear white folks say, oh, well, of course we're not supreme. Everybody is going to say that, right? But then when you drill down a little bit and look at their plans for next week, they're predicated upon their being supreme. They are predicated upon their actually being infallible and supreme. All of your leaders, all of them. The Honorable Marcus Mosiah Garvey said, any leadership that teaches you to depend upon another race is a leadership that will enslave you. Match every single one of your leaders, their plans, their what they speak about on a daily basis against that one simple logic. Match it against that one simple logic. Does Dr. Boyce Watkins' plan ever have him free of white supremacy, or is he trying to be comfortable under white supremacy, right? Match each and every single one of your leaders' plans against that. Are they trying to be free of hatred, white supremacy, and atrocity, or are they trying to find comfort under it? Now, let's talk about it a little bit. Because again, I'm seeing everybody, and this is the reason why I had to do this, because I'm seeing everybody and I'm hearing everybody. They saw there was a proposal, or at least somebody mentioned the fact that they would like to tie the acceptance of the vaccine to a stimulus check, $1,500. We give you $1,500 to take this shot, right? And I'm hearing so much tough talk. I'm hearing everybody, right? I'm not taking no vaccine. Not me, not my family. Well, let me ask you something, okay? Let me ask you something. If you do not control your own food, clothing, shelter, water, healthcare, security, sanitation, education, or utilities, you don't control your employment, you don't control the economy, please tell me exactly how that tough talk is going to keep you from taking that vaccine. If a man says to you, well, you take it or I shut off your water, let's do the math. In 72 hours without water, you're dead. Dead, right? No water, dead in 72 hours. So the man who controls absolutely every essential need to your existence for 72 hours says to you, take this vaccine or we cut you off. What do you do? Again, all the tough talk in the world, you can listen to all the talkers, all of them. I don't care if your name is Elijah, Malcolm Martin, 27X. I don't care. If you do not control the essential needs that keep you alive when the organ grinder plays the tune, you will dance. You will dance. Yes, you and you and you and your mother and your father and your grandparents and your babies, everyone. Are you mortal? Will you die without water in 72 hours? If the answer to that is true, then whoever controls the water controls your life, period. And that of everything and everyone that you know, period. So now we come back to where I have been for an awfully long time, telling you that we need to have control of our own food, clothing, shelter, water, healthcare, security, sanitation, education, and utilities. You have seen me all over the planet Earth teaching my people how to make power, how to filter water, how we've dug wells, we've done all of the things necessary. Again, maternity wards, healthcare, security, MMA fighting gym, and security in Zambia and Tanzania, housing, construction companies, food, right? Water. You see, the essential needs are what we focus on every single day. Every word that you hear from me either is illustrating the precarious nature that we are in or illustrating the solution. What is the solution, right? And so for years, I've been saying these things. I've been putting these things in front of you. And unfortunately, what happens is you got peacocks with bright feathers that go on their talk tracks and they sound real good. And I'm the most requested man in television. And they're all with that bullshit, on that ego shit, right? And they demand and command the attention of the masses because they're flamboyant like the plantation peacock, because their feathers are really bright, right? Because they got the cars and that catches your eye, because there's the glitter and that catches your eye. And so you walk around with these words, right? You walk around talking and sharing irrelevant, inane, asinine thoughts that do nothing, that mean nothing, that have no capacity to do anything to save your babies from what is coming. None. But we do it. We spew that because that's what we see our leaders doing. That's what we see the journalists doing, the politicians. They're engaged in he said, she said conversations, right? Even up at the highest levels of the United States government. What are they doing? He said, she said, sophomoric bullshit, right? And they've got the masses so whittled down that they'll do anything because it's got electrolytes, right? We're doing vision boards and working with crayons in order to be able to illustrate a comprehensive fucking plan, right? These are the things that we've been whittled down to, okay? And so now your leaders, they speak, they sound good. Look at this fool talking about wealth creation. Let me ask you something. You're born in a casino and the house never loses. So the casino prints the chips and then they set the value of those chips while they're in your pocket. Tell me, how many thousands of years do you have to sit in that casino chair before you win? You can't win. They print the chips and they set their value. So this fucking idiot talking about we need to create wealth is walking you into slavery, because if you create wealth, if you get wealthy, your enemy got more wealthy. He prints the money. He controls the interest rate. So if you get wealthy, what you've done is you've made him more wealthy and you've made it more difficult against your own children. And we can't figure this shit out, huh? This is so beyond our capacity to even think through wealth. You're going to generate wealth. You got a plan to generate wealth. So what that means is you assume that tomorrow massa got your water, right? While you're planning to generate wealth, while you're planning to buy the block, while you're planning all these lofty goals, you have overlooked entirely the essential needs that keeps a human alive. So for the next 72 hours, you simply count on the fact that massa got that. Massa got that water for me. I ain't got to think about that, right? I ain't got to think about food. That shit is ridiculous. That's Peter's ideology. That's how Peter thinks, right? That we need water, that we need food, that we need shelter, that we need essentials, right? That's my ideology. That's not true for every single living, sentient being on the planet Earth, right? That's not true. That's a subjective statement that without water, you will die, right? But your leaders and your talkers will go past the essential needs that keep them alive and speak to their ideological ideas as it relates to a solution to our problem, but they have failed to identify or articulate the instruments of our oppression. The instruments of our oppression are not because we don't have enough jobs. We were brought here for jobs. We were brought here for jobs. It's not because we don't have enough jobs. It is not because you do not have enough political representation in the House of Devils. It is not because you do not have any of that shit that your leaders are talking. The instruments of your oppression are your essential needs. How do you make a slave? You make a slave by making a human completely dependent upon you for every single essential need that they have. And once that happens, you can dictate the amount of work that that person does, how long they will work, and the ways in which they will compromise because you control their essentials. So now, your tough talk. I'm not taking a vaccine. Well, what's your plan? What is your plan? See, because right now what they said is they're going to tie the stimulus to it. But guess what? That is a statement where they're still maintaining a mask, right? They're still maintaining a mask because in that there is the illusion of choice. They're saying, yeah, yo, we'll give you $1,500. You take this shot. In it, there is the illusion of choice. There is still the mask. Well, when the mask comes down, guess what happens? They're not asking you. And because you don't control your own water, what the fuck you gonna do? Because you don't control your own food, you don't control your own economy, you don't control your own employment, you don't control anything that keeps you alive. What are you going to do? Sound good? No, I'm not gonna take it. Your babies can't live on that. Your babies will have that shot. Everything that you love is under the control of another man. And you sit day after day after day, sharing inane bullshit on Facebook, confusing your own people. You're out here talking about versus battles and what about my relationship and who should do this in the relationship and should we go 50-50 like slaves that never believe that the important and relevant conversations need to be in their hand. They just count on the fact that Massa's gonna do that. Massa got that for me. Why do I have to think about or even consider or spend one iota of my energy producing things for myself when Massa got that? So I can talk about if my butt's too big. I can talk about, hey, wealth creation. Hey, let me show you how to start a business. Hey, we need a nation. Yeah, you know why? Because you have submitted to the idea that you are a slave and that the important conversations as it relates to your solvency into 72 hours, you don't have to consider. You don't have to think about them because your master got them for you. And this is where we are. Walk, look, see your people talking. Listen to everything. Look at every post that you're going to see on Facebook today. Every single one. Every one of them. All simply assume it's all going to be here. But let me tell you something. If you do not control your own food, clothing, shelter, water, healthcare, security, education, sanitation, and utilities, guess what? You are a dependent, and a dependent has no rights. None. You can say it. It sounds good. We got human rights. We've got civil rights. We'll go to the Senate. We'll go to the... Yeah, guess what? You are a dependent. And nobody asks the dependent what the fuck they want on the dinner table tonight. Nobody, right? So again, you can say you're not going to take the vaccine. You might, protest and sound real good on Facebook and on social media. I'm not taking a vaccine. How are you going to stop it? You can't keep yourself alive, but you talking tough. You can't keep your babies alive, but you talking tough about what you're not gonna do, huh? Let me tell you something. While you out here sounding tough, acting tough, guess what? The only thing that you should be focused on is diminishing your dependency. You talking about you banging on the beast and you banging on white supremacy? No, the fuck you're not. If you was banging on the beast, the way that you bang on the beast is you diminish your dependency. Right now, you're tied to the success or failure of that beast. If that beast falls, you're dead. So now you're not banging on the beast. You're not banging on anything that you are dependent upon in order to be able to survive for 72 hours. No, you're not fighting against that. You sound like you are. You say it. You show up every day and you say these nice words and it looks like you're conscious and it sounds like you're actually anti-white supremacy, but you're the biggest motherfucking proponent of it. Because if it falls, everything you love is dead and you take no hand to diminish the dependency on that. So you sound good. But unless you are planning to diminish the dependency, then you ain't banging on nothing. They smiling in your face and you're smiling back in their face because you have no plan. You have not even identified the instruments of your oppression. So you have no plan. You have no timetable as it relates to when you're going to be free. None. Because you do not plan, right? So again, I made this very quickly just to kind of speak through the vaccinations and all your tough talk. I'm not going to take it. Yeah. Yes, you are. And yes, your baby is. You know why? Because you have no plan. You can't even identify what you need to produce for yourself in order that you didn't have to take a vaccine. So your babies will take the vaccine. And if there's something else that comes out, your babies will take the vaccine. You know why? Because they are dependents. Period. I don't care who you are. I don't care if you've got the biggest movement in the world. I don't care if you are Prince Pan-African. You are the great grand poobah of consciousness. If somebody else controls your food, clothing, shelter, water, healthcare, security, sanitation, education, and utilities, you're his bitch. That's what you are. And you're trying to talk tough and you're trying to sound good around your own people like a peacock with bright feathers so that everybody might enjoy them. But you're not saying anything that is true. You are not preparing your people to be free. Not at all. Not at all. You are counting on a master being there, is what you're doing. So don't, you see my name? Don't come to me. Don't step to me with bullshit. I'm ripping that up. I'm damn near 60 years old. I got no time to be arguing with no fucking children no more. I got no time for that. I'm telling you what is the fact. And I don't care, as I said, I don't care who your leader is. I don't care what your movement is. If it is not focused on diminishing dependency on a master, then they are enslaving you. Any leadership that teaches you to depend upon another race is a leadership that will enslave you. I heard Brother Umar say something the other day, and I've always loved this man. I've always loved this man's brilliance. He is one of the very best speakers and one of the most intelligent men that I've seen, since Martin, since Malcolm, since the 60s. I have not seen one as eloquent and as able to deliver information as Brother Umar is and has been. I'm hoping that, again, we can connect, we can get him together, we can get back on track, and you can do what you need to do. However, I got some fundamental problems with what he's doing and how he goes forward. But what he said the other day was that if you take grants, if you take loans from America, if you take America's money in order to be able to produce your solution and build out your solution, guess what? The reason that they're going to give you money is so that they can hold you, so that they can control you, so that they can put in place the criteria by which you must conform, or that money is removed. So guess what happens to every movement? They begin to conform and they become an agent. By definition, they become an agent of the government. You cannot use their money. You cannot take their grant money. You cannot take their loans. You can't, to solve your problem. If you're waiting for something, if you're waiting for a windfall, you need a lottery, you need reparations, you need something something from your master's hand in order to produce your solution, you have already lost. We must build with what we have in our hands right now. Right now. It is not to hope for something else. It's to find a way to use what you have to build what you need. Again, I'm not that dude. I am not selling anything. Ledge Group, I put up a ending date of January 31st, where we would no longer allow anybody to join the Ledge Group. An elder, Brother Alfonso, pulled me to the side and said, bro, we can't do that. You can't close it up that soon. I didn't give no warning, nothing. But you know why? Because I'm tired of talking to y'all, man. I'm tired of getting into debates and ideological peacock struts. I'm tired of it. I'm telling you the fact. I don't need to, it's not a conversation. I'm telling you what it is, man. It's not because I said it. Every single life form follows this, right? So I get tired of that. And because of that, my energy is better spent rather than addressing you and trying to continually put this in front of you like you was my son. Instead of that, it's easier for me to just simply do what I got to do, right? So I put an end date. Elder Alfonso Pugh talked me out of that, and we extended it. Okay, so I'm not here selling you anything at all. I'm selling you nothing. I'm telling you that what we did was we recognized very long ago where this was going. And the fact that our true enemy is dependency, right? Our true enemy is dependency. Billy Joe Bob that lives down the street don't know what the hell is going on. He's confused. He's bought into that bullshit. He don't know, right? He's not your enemy. Your enemy is being dependent on his father. Your enemy is being dependent on a system that does not recognize your humanity. And if you can't understand that, bruh, don't come to me. I don't have no time for that bullshit. If you can't clearly understand that your enemy is dependency, and therefore your fight is a fight to produce the things that you require from somebody else. If you don't know that, bruh, then that means to me You ain't never listened to what Malcolm was saying. You never listened to what Muhammad Ali was saying. You never actually listened to Elijah Muhammad. You never actually listened to Marcus Garvey. You never actually heard W.E.B. Du Bois. You never actually listened to Frederick Douglass. You never listened to these people. If you think that somehow you're voting, you're marching, you're praying, you're demonstrating, all this bullshit is actually doing something, you're appealing to your master. Everything that you are suggesting is to appeal to your master. Please don't do this to me. Please let me have this. Please give me a kiss when you're giving me the shit that you're giving me. Right? That's what you're doing. You are appealing to a master. You are not putting a solution in place. You are not actionary. You are reactionary. And what you're hoping, your very best plan, what you're hoping is impossible. You can appeal to the president of the United States and he can write a law and say, no more shooting black people. Guess what? That police officer in your city, in your town, didn't get the memo. You can't mandate morality. You cannot legislate love. You can't make these people like you. You cannot make them stop hating you. You can't. So you can beg and take a knee and march and cry and build signs and Black Lives Matter and you can vote and you can join the political party of the day and you can do all those things. And all of those things simply amount to begging another man to do a thing that he can't do. He can't do it. None of them can. But you're going to line up day after day, find new and creative ways to beg this man to do a thing that he can't do. Your needs do not exist in the hands of another man. And until you understand that, until you clearly understand that, you will continue to be on your knees. You will continue to bow at somebody else's table. You will continue to beg at somebody else's table for bread. Because until you understand that the only way for us to come out of this situation is from our own hands, then you will be someone else's slave. I can't fix that for you. Again, like I said, my time here is not infinite. And furthermore, as a result of that, your access to me is not infinite. It is not assured, right? And I'm actually taking steps to back up. I'm tired, right? I've been doing this. See, some of y'all have known me for 10 years and have seen me putting in this work for 10 years. What you don't know is that it is not just 10 years. There are people that are on my friends list 40 years. And for 40 years, they have been resisting the words that I say. And they have always been consistently the same. For 40 years, the majority of the people that live in the city where I'm from, Cambridge, Massachusetts, are not on my friends list. Go look on my friends list. How very few of them are on my friends list because they love their white friends. And when I was speaking the truth, they were afraid it was hurting the feelings of their white friends. And so they eliminated them, they alienated me in order to maintain their relationship with their white friends, right? And today, now, because we got Black Lives Matter and it's 2020, right? Now they're saying the things that I said to them, right? Exact same things. And only reason that they're saying is because their master said they could. So they don't like me. And guess what? I don't need your like. I don't need anyone's like. And still, the things that I just said to you are true. Oh, sure. I'm arrogant. I'm nasty. I'm mean. I'm all those things. Somebody come and say something to you about me, and they say, that Peter Brown is this. Don't deny it. Yeah, I probably am. You're damn right. But that has no bearing on the fact that your babies are looking into your eyes for a solution. Your babies think you are the ultimate power in their lives. Your babies think you are the master. Meanwhile, you're begging and bowing to another master. So you don't worry about what I am. Reconcile that shit in your own minds, because your babies are looking to you for a solution. I simply suggest that there is a solution and it exists in your hands. So I'm saying to you, you're a man. And you are the ultimate responsibility to produce for yourself and your family solvency into the future. It is your responsibility, no matter what happens or who should say that they are responsible, to produce your own food, clothing, shelter, water, healthcare, security, sanitation, education, and utilities. It's your responsibility. So if you fail to do so, eat the cake, Annie Mae. That ain't got nothing to do with me. If you choose to be someone else's slave, then stay that slave. I do not. And any man or woman of African descent who believes that they need to build their own. You're not looking for a handout. You're ready to put a tool in your hand and go to work. Yo, find me. You're going to find me with tools in my hand on the mountain. You're going to find me double hammered and striking this spike. You're going to find me doing that work, producing food, clothing, shelter, water, healthcare, security, sanitation, education, and utilities for ourselves. I got nothing else to focus on. I'm not worried about no damn vaccine. If I have my healthcare in place, then I can move the hell away from this, and I ain't got to worry about what they're doing. If I got my own food, then they can't hold that over my head. If I control my own water, then they can't control me with the water. If I can build my own shelter, then they can't hold that over my head. And as long as you do not adopt that attitude, then you will always have a master. Always. Yo, I try to keep it as 100 as I possibly can. There ain't no ambiguity. It's not my ideology. It's not what I think, and it's not because I said it. It is a fact. You are a sentient, living being, and your mortality is what is tying you to slavery or freedom. See, you can threaten a chicken and tell that chicken that it is mortal and that it will die if it doesn't produce more eggs. That chicken will not produce more eggs. You can threaten a cow and tell him, I'm going to kill her, I'm going to kill you. If you do not increase your production of milk, that cow will not produce more milk. Your fear of death is what has you a slave. Your desire for convenience to produce the essential needs that you have is what holds you as a slave. And I'm telling you, stand up one time. Stand up one time. Be courageous enough to stand up and produce those things that will keep you alive. And for the rest of your progeny and the rest of your generations, they will never have to beg another man again. They will never have to compromise again. They will never have those things held over their head again. When you was young and your sibling let you borrow some of their clothes, right? You wore some of their clothes. Then you got out in public and your sibling said, that's why you wear my shoes, right? What was the first thing you did? You took them damn shoes off and threw them at them, right? Take your damn shoes. I don't want your shoes. Why aren't we doing that? Why aren't we doing that? If somebody is holding a thing over your head, and based on the thing that they are holding over your head, they have control over your entire existence, when do you get the idea to remove that dependency? When? I can't call that for you. Soon as you get that idea, find me. My name is Peter Brown. My email address, pbrown@theledgegroup.com. Find me. Find the Ledge Group. Go to YouTube. Look up the Ledge Group. See every second of my life. See every second of our energy and what it is that we do. You ready to build? You ready to do what you need to do with what you have in your hand right this minute? I'm ready. We take trash and turn it into economies. Find me. Peace.